Okay, well, hello everyone again. I hope you're all well. I hope you have enjoyed yesterday's session. And I've received quite a few messages yesterday and also this morning, just really kind words from you. So I thank you. I appreciate you for being here and for taking the time to send me a little message of appreciation. It's very sweet, it's very kind, and definitely goes a long way and lets me know that I'm doing something right, that I'm giving you my best. So that's great. What I'm going to do today is I've prepared a few slides, which actually I've also prepared for yesterday, because of everything that was happening to me yesterday. I thought, I better not share any slides just in case, just to be on the safe side, in case this is not going to work and I'm just going to crush the whole thing. But I'm going to try it today. Okay. So first things first, I'd like to take a step back to yesterday. Let's dive into the confidence boost for profit in business and joy in life. And going back to yesterday's session, do you remember I asked you to think about your 3 strengths that give you joy? Not that you're just good at, but you also absolutely love doing them. By using those strengths, you have so much happiness, so much joy and bliss. Your strengths is what really give you confidence. When you have identified them, when you have thought about them, and I bet you probably thought them a little bit more than just 5 minutes. I mean, I know it's the case for me, when I'm giving an exercise and I do it and I have my 3 little answers, it's something that really sticks with me for the next day. I'm sure it's probably the same for you. Because confidence is like a muscle. It's a muscle that needs to be trained, and it's a muscle that needs to be nourished. So it's interesting. It's like every skill, isn't it? Some people are born confident. Some people are born natural leaders with natural confidence. And yes, confidence can also be taught and can also be boosted at any point in life. Sort of like building up a muscle. Yeah, some people are born slightly more physically capable. But it doesn't mean that you can't build it up. It doesn't mean that you can't train it to do what you want it to do. But it also doesn't mean that at some point in life it gets better. And then at some point we'll lose the ability to, run faster or lift up heavier weights and so on. So confidence is a muscle, and this is where your strengths come in. So bear this exercise in mind, and I would like you to, whenever you feel that you are lost, that you are uninspired, that you want to move forward but don't know how, think about those strengths and just see how much boost they will give you almost immediately. Day 2, why are you here? And I mean, of course, you are here to be a part of this masterclass, but really, what are you thinking? What are you hoping to take away from this class? And this is the same question that I want to ask myself in front of you. Why am I here? And I'm here today to help information get to the right people. And you, my friends, are those right people. You are the people who crave to hear what I want to share with you. And I want you to be aware of your own abilities, of what you can and can't do, and of what you want and don't want to do. So, I will share my personal story. I'm sure like many of you, there's been a time in my life when I've been sat in my own cave, in my own head. This story is actually quite recent. And most of it is due to the pandemic. I had plans, I made plans for myself, but of course, life, I had different plans, and I found it very tough and very dark. There were times when I didn't want to go forward. And then I had a small check-in with myself. And I told myself that there must be a way out. And I knew that there's going to be a way out because I'm not a little girl. I've got a certain life experience, and I know that there is an end to every journey, and also there is a solution to every problem. So I knew that I'm going to get out of that darkness. The only thing that I needed at that point was patience. And patience became my word of the year in 2021. You know how people set goals at the beginning of the year, or they select a word for the year? Now, I'm not really a big champion for selecting a goal or a certain thing to do or to achieve at the beginning of the year, but I do like to choose a word for a year. It sort of gives me a bit of a agenda, I suppose, and also a bit of support. And in 2021, I really said to myself, okay, your word for the year is going to be patience. I don't know how, I don't know why, but like this is what it's going to be. And the reason for that is because I knew well enough that in that darkness, in that dark tunnel, there has to be a light at the end of it somehow, somewhere. And so patience became my everything, my mantra, my vision, my food, my medicine, my light and my guide. And also, I suppose, in a way, it also became my goal. Because although I said to myself that this is going to be my word for the year, I also didn't know how to have that patience. I told you yesterday, if I can get it by a bucket full, I'll gladly get 10 and share it with everyone. What that 2021 gave me, it gave me plenty of time to think about myself and to analyze everything about myself, everything that I've done and everything that I am. I looked at my professional experience, I looked at my personal experiences, and I knew I was really aware of all my professional strengths. This is just something that I've been aware all the time. But the challenge for me was to highlight everything in my personal life and to bring it into my professional life. And when I was in China, when we were on an expat assignment, I took on a voluntary position as a vice president of a local international club. It's a local NGO. And I saw there how many women were accompanying their partners. And obviously, none of us worked, or the majority, I would say 95% of us didn't have jobs. And how many women were so lost, so lost. They were so well educated. They had so much experience in life, professional experience. There were people who were architects, teachers, people with a marketing background, university professors, women engineers, Yet none of them knew what to do with their lives. They just thought of themselves as those professionals. They could only make that connection, that alignment to their something tangible, like your office, like your team, right? Like your task that you did. They couldn't really understand how to bring the two parts together, the professional side and the personal side. And I was the same. The only difference for me is that with my coaching experience, of course, I could analyze that, and I could share those experiences with people and guide them to find themselves and to connect the personal and the professional together. So bringing two different identities and finding one common ground, finding where the two interlap and being aware of everything and aligning those. So when you think that everything that, say, a mother does at home, cleaning, cooking, looking after the children, navigating, managing the whole household, right? Then a wife, a daughter, a sister, all the little jobs that they do, all the little supporting, but also leading positions that they all offer. Then again, going back to myself, going back to who I am, I'm reliable, I'm multitasking, I listen well. I know that that's one of my strengths. I'm always there for my friends. I love to chat. I sometimes snap. I think we all do, especially when it comes to families, when it comes to motherhood. But mostly, I give constructive feedback instead of just like plain criticism. So, for example, when we moved to Germany, we came here, children and I, we came here a month before my husband did. And I found it really hard. Seriously, I did find it really hard. Physically, it was really difficult on me, well, mentally as well. But I remember that there were times when I really wanted to snap at kids. And I suppose I did at times, but I was honest with them. I told them, look, I'm really tired. I'm finding all of this very difficult. Can you just give me a space? And can you help me around the house? And although kids are kids, they can still do stuff, right? They can help with, I don't know, little cleaning, little cooking, can go to the shop, can look after themselves. That is a skill. If you think about it, that is a skill, also strength that shows that I can be open, that I am honest. I'm honest with myself, and also I'm honest with those around me, and I'm good at delegating. Delegating is something that can also be mastered, always be mastered. And also by sort of like moving here before my husband did. I mean, the reason for that was that the children have already finished school. We had moved out of our apartment. We were staying in a hotel. It was a bit boring, and it was too hot in China. So it's not like you can go out for nice walks or anything. So I told my husband, I said, you know what, I've got nothing to do here. Let me go a month earlier, and at least kids and I can be nice fresh air and crack on with setting our lives up in Germany. By doing this, I have shown my voluntary skills. So this is another example of where you show up in private life and how to find those examples in personal life, in private life, of what highlights your strengths. Looking at those wakes you up, makes you aware of who you really are. So what am I looking at now? I also know that there are some other skills that I'm just going to be biased, good at. Speaking, presenting, delegating, those are all my strengths. Communication, as much as I like being with and connecting with people, I still need to connect more and articulate my message better. I think this is a never-ending situation, not just for myself, but for everyone, especially as we go through life. Situations change, and our messages change. Teaching, coaching, and mentoring, those are the skills that I've been practicing nonstop for, I would say, a good 20 years, probably even more, especially as a mother. And especially in the last couple of years when all of us mothers had to deal with homeschooling, we've definitely acquired so many more skills and strengths, right? All of those are my priorities. Still, they are my priorities because I am good at them, and I like to dedicate time to build up on those skills where I shine, where I blossom. Because sure, I can develop those skills where, which need developing, which are not that great. But why would I, unless I absolutely have to, spend time, creating 15 different tabs? Think of them as open tabs on your computer, but really not really master anything, when it's so much better to really master something. Because when you master something, it's like going back to confidence being a muscle. When you master something, when you become so great at something, let them just be 3 skills, your confidence goes through the roof. And when your confidence goes through the roof, you can do anything. Your confidence goes hand in hand with your ability to get things done. So all of a sudden, when you're confident, you know that you can get things done. You start getting these wonderful ideas you never even knew have existed. I'm sure you've had that. And you start seeing life from a different perspective. You're happy with yourself. You look better on the outside. You feel happier within. And when you feel happier within, and on the outside as well, you attract the same kind of people. You attract the same kind of situation with similar, positive, shining energy. And when you attract those into your life, of course, you start building up better relationships. People start seeing you differently. They want a piece of what you have. They'll probably approach you and ask you, oh, how did you do that? Oh, that's what happens when you are so confident, when you're so aware of just 3 things that you're good at and you have mastered them, that your confidence radiates to everyone else. You start attracting everything else. You start attracting the right people, the right partners, the right clients, the right business. You start to excel in your business and therefore profit more. So you align your professional life with your personal life. You create joy in both. And I'm sharing this with you. I'm exposing myself and showcasing myself to you here now, so you can learn from me. And I know that as you're listening to me, you probably have, dozens of examples popping into your head about who you are and what you're good at. Regardless of how good we are, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, and that sucks. And it's not much fun. And it's very frustrating initially to deal with that. But like I said, nobody's perfect. Perfection is a liar. I want you to remember this little sentence and drill it into your head, write it down somewhere, put it in front of you, because it did wonders to me when I said it out loud to myself, and I use it over and over again all the time whenever I feel like I want to be perfect. Perfect to start something, perfect to carry on with something. The thing is, what perfection does, it does nothing but gives us self-doubt. And self-doubt, what does that do? It makes us think very, very small of ourselves. I know that I can do something. I know it. But then I start perfecting, then I start thinking about the little stain on my dress, and I start thinking, oh my goodness, I can't go out looking in public like this. What will they think? Who cares? Who cares? Nobody's going to look at it. And those people who are going to notice, they're either going to make me aware of this, for which I'll be grateful, or they're going to think whatever they think quietly to themselves, and I don't care about those people. Really. Awareness, action, and alignment. So once you become aware of who you are, of what you're good at, go into the first slide, what you're able to do and what you want to do and what you won't do, that's your awareness. From then, the next step is to take action. And then it's only after you take the action, you become aligned. So clarity always comes from action. We know it. It doesn't matter how much you learn things. We all went to school. We've all been there. There are some things we can learn it forever. It just never sticks in the head. But sometimes all it takes is just to get something done, to write it on a piece of paper, or to say it by example, or to actually do it by hand. And all of a sudden, you know how to do that. That is your clarity. The same for results. If you want the results, if you want to build up your confidence, then you need to act on it. You need to train that muscle. You need to remind yourself all the time that you are confident, and come back to the center, to yourself. Find yourself and get that confidence out. And it's funny because clarity in action and results in action go both ways. Yeah. And there was an interesting research that I read by Harvard Business Review, which said that 89% of people don't have goals. 14% of people have a plan in mind, but they have never written it down. And only 3% of us have real goals, which they write down. Now, the trick here, what it's been talking about, is that those goals are written down. The study went to find out that 14% of those who have goals are 10 times more successful than those without goals. But it goes even better. The 3% of people who have written goals are 3 times more likely to be successful than those 14%. So I'll repeat that. 14% of people who have goals are 10 times more successful than those without goals. And the 3% with written goals are 3 times more successful than the previous 14%. I know for myself that every time I set a goal, I get to it. Even if I don't get to it, if something happens in a way, there is always a very good reason. There's always a very good lesson into why I have failed or what had prevented me from getting there. There's always a valid reason. And often those reasons are not that obvious. Yeah, I'm sure you've been there when you know that life is trying to teach you something desperately, but you just don't know. You just don't understand why it is. And sometimes those lessons come much later in life. Sometimes the lesson wasn't for that time. That situation had occurred just so you can get out of that situation. The actual lesson comes in handy much later in life, or perhaps in a different area of your life. I want to do a little exercise with you now. Let's take 5 minutes and think about what would you do if you had more confidence. Now, I would like to share the same example that I shared with you yesterday. I think if I had more confidence, if I had more guts and courage, I would really like to learn how to surf. I have a friend whose mom learned how to surf at the age of 60. 60. But it definitely makes me think that it's something that is achievable. And definitely age is nothing but a number, as long, of course, as you are physically in a healthy form, and your physical state allows you to do so. So if I had more confidence, I would go and learn how to surf. Now, next question is, what can happen? Just think of external factors. What can happen so you will feel more confident? Again, just to concentrate on one area of your life. It doesn't have to be everything, because of course our whole life as a unit is just too broad. For me, I think if I got more, say if I now got invited to a couple of interesting interviews by business leaders, or by maybe like by Forbes or Harvard Business Review, if they approached me and they asked me to participate in an interview or to give a talk, will definitely boost my confidence. Absolutely. And the last question is, what can you do to get that confidence? Yeah. So no, not what can happen, not what would you do if you had it, but what can you actually do? And this question I would like you to take as your assignment for today and think about it. What can you do to get more confidence, to get what you want to get done? And for that, going back to the Harvard study, is think about the goal that you might like to have. It doesn't have to be a lifetime goal. It can be a goal for today, for this week, for this training. There's one thing that could be on your agenda in either personal or private life, or both. So on this note, I am going to wrap up. I wish you a pleasant afternoon or a day, depending where you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow again.